So the other day I was sitting in the park. I was reading a book that was gifted to me by somebody in my past. Um, the book is called The Power of Your Subconscious Mind by Joseph Murphy. It's a very great book. I highly recommend you read it. Um, anyways, in the chapter I was reading, it was talking about electricity. And somebody had asked Thomas Edison what electricity was. He responded that electricity is, so use it. It got me thinking, and the author also said that electricity is an invisible power that we don't fully comprehend, but we study it to learn about all its uses and capabilities. This made something kind of click in me. Things over my life and some recent discoveries I had, which called me to just make a journal entry about it. So, call these journal entries Thoughts with RC. They're generally about how I'm truly feeling about things going on in my life and analyzing my emotions and thoughts. But this one was different, as it was posing a question for everyone. So this entry ultimately asked the question, why don't people believe in themselves? And you're probably asking, Rashawn, like, what does this have to do with electricity? We'll get to it in a second. You're probably like, where is he going with this? Let me cut real quick. I know it makes sense. But the whole point of this is, I was recently at work, right? And we had CPR training, and the instructor was talking about how CPR and the AED works. And he said that you have to use them in tandem. The reason for that is because CPR allows the body, whatever body you're working on, to provide a shockable current through the flow of oxygenated blood to the heart and brain. And the AED cannot work without this. It needs that shock. It needs the electricity. So, with that being said, let's just keep this in mind. And let's think about some other examples of electricity that happens in the human body or happens with us. So you guys probably all touched a door handle and got shot. And I've been there plenty of times. I hate when it happens, but it happens. And then you just think about all the ways you can get electrocuted. Fork in the wall socket, toaster in the bathtub, electrocuted. You see, I mean not electrocuted, lightning bolt. You see all these clouds in the background. It's about to rain soon. I could get electrocuted at any moment. Probably not right now, but it's a possibility. So my point is, with all that, we're electrical beings, right? And electric flows through us. We need it to survive in a way. And electricity is a very powerful tool that we use in our life, and we all believe in. So let's just put that on hold for a second, and let's just think about some other beliefs that we have as a collective. So we can go into this first one, right? So just like electricity, all of us on this platform use Wi-Fi. We know it exists, despite us not being able to see the signals that it puts out. And we look at something else, something that's very widespread in the world. A large portion of the human population believes in religion or spirituality, and with this, you believe in gods or some energies out in the universe. Same thing. We don't see these things, right? But we know and we feel they exist. This poses the question, right? We can't see this stuff. We don't know this stuff exists. I mean, we know it exists. But I pose the question, why can't we as a collective believe in ourselves? Why can't you believe in yourself? Really think about that question, because you're physically here. You're physically here, yet you can't believe in yourself, but you're believing in these other things that you can't see. Wi-Fi, religions, gods, the universe, or not the universe, but energies out in the universe. Electricity is a little different. You can see lightning bolts and static electricity if you use some experiments, but in daily life, you're not really seeing electricity. It's just, it really baffles me, but I understand why people don't believe in themselves. I was one of those people who didn't even think about it for a large portion of my life. I was just kind of going through life and not doing it for myself, but I understand there's some reasons for why people don't believe in themselves, so I'll go over some of those. So I came down to 3. I mean, obviously there's a lot more variables and things that play into it, but we got 3 answers here, right? So the first one is just pure ignorance. You just simply don't know any better, and that's okay. You just haven't been through the situations or haven't been put in the environments that have opened your eyes to adapt in this mindset. And that's fine. That's what life is. You live and you learn, you go through lessons, and eventually you get to the point where you can understand things like this. The second one is you're in denial. And this is usually for the reason that you're around people or you're in an environment that tells you you can't do something. And you're in that environment around these people for so long, you eventually start to believe it. And then you know what you're capable of, you know your talents, you know your skills, you do certain things, but these people have put this thought into your head that you can't do this, so you start to believe it too. And the last one is probably the most damaging of them all, but we've all been there. If you haven't been there, you might be there at some point. You might be a little younger, or maybe you just haven't got over some certain things, but the last one is very crucial. You might just be afraid of change. I could say at some points I was afraid of change, and everyone is, but you gotta embrace change for a fact. But with being afraid of change, it's very easy to sit in an environment or be around people that you're comfortable with and just wallow in the energy of being stuck or being stuck in a place. Like, you can't sit there and do this and continue to live your life like this. You just gotta make an option. You gotta make a choice to start believing in yourself, right? And once you do that, you're gonna have to do some things that make you uncomfortable. A lot of things that make you uncomfortable. You gotta step outside your comfort zone and face those situations that you feared in your mind for so long. I've been there. I've been super scared to do certain things in my life. This was one of them. But you don't have to be scared. You don't gotta fear things. That's a topic for a different day. But fear will have you stuck for so long just because you simply think you can't do something. You think you can't do something. But you gotta be in the mindset that you can do something. With that being said, this path is not easy, and this path will tear you down in many ways that you didn't foresee, but this is all done for a great reason. It's done to tear down that old foundation, that old building, and to create a new foundation for the new life that you want for yourself. It'll get you in the right direction, but it's not easy, like I said. And something I realized, right, even though I'm at a much different place than I was even a couple of months ago, definitely a couple years ago, something very important I realized over my time doing work on myself is this. I realized that even though you wish the best for yourself, it doesn't mean that everything will literally go right or literally will be good. But life will put you through situations that ultimately create the best version of yourself. And that's the most important thing. And I can say personally, I've been through many different situations, many hard situations, and in a short span of time. I'm not super old, 24, so I'm relatively young, but I've been through a lot of hard situations on my mental, right? But with that being said, those difficult situations were some of the best lessons I learned in my life. It helped me create the version of myself I wanted to be, and it helped me get to this point in my life, and it helped me become the person I am today. We look at other people, right? You take some of the most famous people in the past 40 years, most famous athletes. Everybody uses the example, but I'm gonna use it because it's an easy thing to use. And a lot of people can understand it because they're widely recognized. So we got, Michael Jordan, one of the most famous basketball players of all time, has his own shoes, won 6 championships. At one point, he got cut from his high school basketball team. If you haven't heard that story, I suggest going and watching it, or listening to it, or reading up on it. But that being said, he never stopped believing in himself. He believed in himself, and he visualized where he wanted to go. He visualized himself making shots, himself winning championships, himself being the one on the team, leading them to success. And we look at another Michael Phelps, legendary swimmer, legendary U.S. swimmer, legendary swimmer in the world, Olympic gold medalist many times, world records, all that stuff. Same way, he didn't get to where he wanted to be without believing in himself. He did the same thing, visualized him swimming those laps, beating his opponents, countless hours. You gotta mentally visualize where you wanna go in order to get to where you wanna go. And that brings up a great point on the flip side of perspective, right? I personally used to be one of those people who would always say, like, oh, bad stuff happens to me all the time, like, oh my gosh, like this happened, that happened, and I would just sit in the energy of negative stuff happening. And guess what happened? Bad stuff would happen. Because I was sitting there thinking about it. I was sitting there thinking bad stuff would happen to me all the time, and it did. Me saying that, or me being like that for so long, it got to the point where I really had to sit with myself and look in the mirror and finally take accountability for the actions that I had control of that ended up being bad for me. Because we do have control of some of these actions, right? We can change the outcome of these actions. We had a hand in these actions. So you gotta take accountability for that. With that being said, not everything we can control. Some bad situations, bad environments, bad people around, we can't control that. But at a point in your life, you gotta sit there and you gotta get out the mentality of a victim. Because you're gonna have a choice at some point in life. Maybe you don't have it now. Maybe you're still in this environment that's holding you back. But you gotta be able to face these problems head on. Because complaining is not gonna do anything but make you feel worse. Sitting in the energy is not gonna do anything but make you feel worse. You gotta face these problems. You gotta process them. You gotta use them to strengthen you as a person. That's not hard. That's not easy to do. But that's the whole point of believing in yourself. It's not gonna be easy, but you could do the easy thing and sit there and be stuck for all your life and complain and complain and complain. Complain. It's not helping you. It's probably making other people mad because they probably see the potential in you, but you don't see it in yourself. You gotta get up and do something for yourself. So, like I said, you can't sit here, compare yourself to others and their situations. The only way, or the only reason you should be comparing yourself in the situations is so you use that as motivation. to be grateful that you're not in that situation. And so you don't complain about your situation, that you can use it as a lesson and learn from it. As I was saying, you might be in an environment that is not fair to you. You might have been dealt some horrible cards in your life, right? But at what point in your life are you gonna choose to shuffle the deck yourself? Because you're gonna have an option to become the dealer. And you're gonna be able to shuffle these cards yourself. You're gonna be able to see what cards you want. Some of the cards in the deck are still not gonna be good, but you gotta make do with them. You gotta use them to your advantage. Use whatever you learn from them to make moves and move on. With all that being said, I do got a story for y'all, just to kind of give you some insight on how believing in myself and the power of my subconscious mind has got me to where I am, because it has shaped most of my life, and that's what I had to realize. But a great example of this is I currently live in Maryland, right? And I got a job out here. Let's go back like a year or two. Graduated in 2024, had a little internship after college, insurance internship, whatever. Not related to what I went to school for. I went to school for HR, but I had the opportunity to become a bank teller or work at my old high school, and I wanted to coach, so I ended up choosing that route. I wasn't fully ready to jump into the workforce. I was like, you know what, let me just save some money, do something that would be cool and not too high pressure, and also coach, which I wanted to do. And I'll say the football aspect was very good. I enjoyed it a lot. We went 12-1, had a lot of responsibilities on JV, and I learned a lot from it. Don't get me wrong, there were some days I was going crazy, but that's just life. You're not gonna have great days every day. But with that being said, the school aspect, and I was a building sub, so I'm there 5 days a week. I'm doing whatever they need me to. I was genuinely going crazy. like it was a lot, and people told me from the jump it was, but I just wasn't sure myself. I stayed there for a little over a year, and I won't lie, like going there was hard a lot of days, because I knew what I was gonna be getting into. Some days I didn't know what I was getting into, but it was crazy. It was a madhouse. It wasn't very enjoyable. There was a lot of things I couldn't control there, a lot of people I didn't want to be around, negative attitudes, all that stuff. But I tried to stay positive through it all. And regardless of everything, it's getting a little crazy out here, a little windy. But regardless of everything, before going to sleep, I would tell myself a couple of things. I would tell myself that the next day would be a great day. I would tell myself that the power of my subconscious mind will reveal to me my true place in life. I would tell myself that my subconscious mind will answer all questions I have. And the greatest one I live by is saying it's already written, so there's no reason for me to worry ever. And that's really true, because when you think about life, nothing in this life truly matters, to be honest. Well, I realized I missed a very big part of the Maryland story. That win kind of made me lose the plot. But yeah, basically with Maryland, like I said, I say those things before I go to sleep, and I just have confidence in myself and I guess just the world, that things are just gonna be better for me. And just looking forward to the coming days. Obviously you gotta live in the present, but you can set out what you want for the future, and that's the whole point of this video. You gotta believe in yourself. So basically with Maryland, I was planning to move out anyway in the summer, and that's the destination I wanted to go. And I would tell people, I'm like, yeah, I want to go to Maryland, but eventually it turned into, I'm gonna be in Maryland. Like, I'll be in Maryland this summer, And regardless of if I had a job or not, I was gonna move here. Yeah, so I applied to jobs in my area though while I was there, while I was still at the school, because I just wanted to get anything that was a better situation. And I got some opportunities, but they just weren't for me. They weren't things I really truly wanted to do, but I was willing to take anything, honestly. But well, I guess I wasn't, because I didn't take them. So but the whole point is, this 1 week I started getting a lot more opportunities, and I was like, oh, this is great, this is great. They were in my area, which is not really what I was looking for, but it was still good to see that more things were happening. And at the end of this week, it was pretty late at night. I think it was like 10:30, if I'm recalling that right. And I get a message from this job. They're asking me to apply, and it's a job in Maryland. Keep in mind, I hadn't even started applying to jobs in Maryland. At this point, it's still pretty early in the year. It might have been like October, so I was pretty far out from moving to Maryland if I was gonna go, or when I was gonna go, which was in the summer. But they needed somebody for Maryland, and they thought I was a great candidate, and it was a perfect opportunity for me. It involved stuff I wanted to do in a job, a great balance of stuff, and it was paying much more than the jobs I was applying to. I got right on it. I did great on the pre-interview process, did great in the interview. They told me that themselves, and I got the job, and I'm here today. So that's just proof you need to believe in yourself. That's my proof, and I can't fully explain it besides that I believe that I'd be here, and I believed I would be in a better situation than being at the school. And that's exactly where I am today. So let's jump back into the video. But yeah, we're gonna live and we're gonna die one day. And people 10 years from then might not remember you. 20 years, even less, 100 years, probably nobody. Maybe your grandchildren, great-great-great-grandchildren, whoever, I don't know. They might remember you, but that's it. Like, in the grand scheme of things, none of this matters. To wrap all of this up, I'll just give you guys, like, I don't know if it's an analogy, but like, I don't know. It's just something interesting I thought about, and to put all of this together. I want you guys to think about this, right? View yourself as a computer and the user at the same time. As I mentioned earlier, we're electrical beings, and currents run through us. Those currents connect to our brain, and our brain is super powerful. It does things we can't explain. I'll share a short story. I don't know if you guys have heard about this, but people will go into comas, right? Wake up and speak a completely different language. How is that possible? I have no idea. It's the power of your brain, and I'll connect it all in a second, but keep that in mind as well. So our brain's very powerful, and people spend billions of dollars each year to research it. We also got to look at the takeover of AI, which tries to replicate the human mind. So that just tells you all you need to know about how powerful our brains can be, especially for ourselves. Anyways, we take this right. Our brains hold our thoughts, feelings, and emotions. And these things can be viewed as what? What we were talking about earlier. We were talking about Wi-Fi. So these things are signal out to the universe or to your gods, whatever you believe, and they take that. The universe takes that. Your gods take that. They listen to it. They give you whatever you subconsciously ask for. So look at your body. You're the user. It's also your energy source. Our brain is like the computer, and these thoughts and feelings are the signals that we energetically put out. And you might have stepped in a room before, right? Or there's two things. You stepped in a room, you felt the vibe, you're like, okay, like I'm messing with it. Or no, like I don't like what I'm feeling here, like it's too negative. Or there's another thing. You have a feeling, you have a gut feeling. You're dealing with somebody, and You think they did something, or you think something's gonna happen, and then it turns out to be true. It's the power of your mind, man. Intuition, all that stuff. That energy's put out, it's signaled out like Wi-Fi, and the universe, or your gods, is the internet, which is, they're extremely powerful tools. Just like on the internet, you look something up, you search something up, right? And you may not find what you're looking for right away, but you go through some different pages, you read some information, and you eventually find what you're looking for. And the same goes for yourself. Once you start believing in yourself, things aren't going to change overnight. You might not see the results right away. And life is going to put you in situations that teach you lessons, and eventually they'll lead you to where you wanted to get to. They'll lead you to that spot you wanted to get to. They'll lead you to that best version of yourself. I say that just to get to this. You're the creator and the invention. You are your own reality, and you're the creator of your reality. So if you do anything in life, believe in you. Because why not? We only got one life. Believe in yourself. But you guys see, beautiful day. Beautiful day to be alive. And yeah. Trust in yourself, believe in yourself, have self-confidence, have self-love. Do the things you want to do. Don't be afraid, don't fear things. Jump into things and live your life for yourself. Believe in you.